Hey everybody, it's David R. Becker here again with BeckerArt and our Sunday morning demo. And so today we're in Winthrop Harbor and we're going to be doing a paint of boats. I love painting boats, and here's the scene we're going to be doing. Where is it? Here's the scene we're going to be doing. Okay, here it is. There we go. There's the scene we'll be doing today. And boats, fishing boats, not sailboats. Sailboats on the other side of the harbor, and I can't get too close to them, and so these are I can get a little bit closer, and so let's see what we can do today. And so here we go. This is what we're going to be painting. There's the boats in Winthrop Harbor. These are fishing boats, and we are just going to have some fun painting boats. I mean, I love painting boats, and this is my kind of scene. So let's get down to business here. And hopefully you can see. I can't see the camera at all, so let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. There's what we're painting. So it is kind of an overcast day today, and so we're going to make it a little stormy. I want to make it kind of stormy, and there's not many darks in this image. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that when I'm doing the image, the contrast is going to be the pier, the bottom of the boats, and the reflections. That's basically the only darks. Everything else is pretty light on this. So I want to have fun with the sky basically, and so I'm going to wet the whole sky. I'm going to make it a little bit more stormy than it is. It looks like it's going to be raining here in a little bit again. Every Sunday, it seems like it's last Sunday in Antioch, I was rained upon. So hopefully we won't be rained upon today. And look at the seagulls flying by, so that's going to be kind of fun. So for the background, I'm going to make a lot of grays in here first. I'm going to pull together some grays. I use grays. To make my grays, I usually use a violet, a lavender, and maybe with a little bit of blue. And so we're going to bring that down, and we're going to bring the background, seems like a little bit darker back down here. And again, I didn't bring any paper towel, I forgot again, and so we're going to have to use the pier or my pants again as my paper towel. So I'm going to let it drip down here. Let's see, can I see this? Can you guys see what I'm doing? Should I be closer up? And so we got this. Let's go a little bit to the left here. And I'm letting it drip. I'm intensely letting it drip so I get a lot of nice drips going in here. I want it to look a little bit more stormy than it is. That's cool, making it stormy sky. It's more dramatic, right? It's a little more dramatic than making it. So I'm gonna wash it down and let it drip. I'm on a angle anyways, and so it's always gonna drip nicely downwards. I'm gonna put a little bit more lines way in the distance over here. And that's the break wall. The break wall is these big walls back there, and I'll put them in when it gets a little bit drier. I'm just going to put it in a little bit thicker. And to make it gray, I use my violets and my yellow, or violet and the yellowish orange. It kind of makes it gray. Maybe a little bit of blue in there. Make it dull. Kind of grayish. You can go with black also to make it gray, which I had in my newsletter last week. So I'm just going to go down here, and right away I'm going right into the water. Now I'm going to go around the boats because the top of the boats are the only white. There is no sun out, and the sun is above the clouds, and so I don't have the pleasure of using shadows to make my well, there are shadows, but not direct sunlight shadows to help out my composition. So I'm just going to go with lights and darks of local color. When you have an overcast, you always go with the local color of things. And so now the water right away. I'm going to do the water. And again, my only darks are going to be like the pier. The darks are going to be the underneath here and the pier itself. So I'm going in there now and getting more of the water, big areas. Get a little bit more cloudiness to the top here. See, I want to get a little more drips. A little more drips and a little more drama in the sky. I always forget it's going to dry by 20% lighter, so out here it takes forever to dry because it's kind of damp out here today, so it's taking a little bit longer to dry. So I don't have that when you're painting in the sun. A lot of times it dries really quickly, and then you don't have time. It's just like it just dries instantly. So I'm going to put little darks in here now. And the water, I'm going to get the water, go right into my side of my boats. Top of the pier is also going to be, I might as well just go into that all. Again, these are my lights. I didn't do my darks yet. Using kind of a lot of violet here, as you notice, but that's okay. It's green, the water's kind of greenish more, but you know me and green. But I can make it like a grayish green, grayish violet green. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to, once this dries, then I use my darks to make the dark parts of the boat. And again, the top parts of the boats are white, and so that's going to be my light area. My light area is going to be the top of the boats. And then the reflections will be the dark, and the pier themselves will be the darks. I also have back here, if you look way, can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that, but in the back here, there's some lines of trees back there. Way in the distance back there, there's some trees. I'm not sure what that is back there. I think that's where they put the boats in. Part of the harbor, in Winthrop Harbor here. Alright, so now I try to go forward is what I'm trying to do. Little by little come forward with your, I'm going to get a little bit more green in this water because it is kind of greenish blue. And keeping it light because I have to keep it light so that I get my reflections in there. My reflections in these piers again are my dark areas. All the stuff that's like on the dock and stuff, I didn't put it all in. I'm going to maybe fake a little bit of that with the brushwork. But now I want to go in here, get a smaller brush. And I want to paint the background and start getting the background rocks in there. And way in the distance is Lake Michigan back here. This is Lake Michigan. And so I can put a really light wash back there just to make it seem like you can see the water way in the distance. So way back here, right above the break wall, you can see a little bit of the lake. So I'm going to put that in there, soft edged. I'm going to put that in there real quickly. And then it is wet, so I'm getting a soft edge here. I got a little dry, so I get a little hard edge there. Let me see if you guys can see what I'm seeing. To make sure it's working. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Here now we're gonna go in and get the boats. I'm hoping I'm not blocking it. Let's see if I'm blocking this when oh, you just see my hand? That's good. So here we're going to do the background trees now. And so I'm going to go way back there. Do some really dark color back here. There's a little bit of a tent back here. Then we got some trees way in the distance. I'm going to make those a little dark. And then there's a bunch of stuff. Actually, right now there's a bunch of seagulls. If you can see, there's a million seagulls back there flying around. I can put those in later. And the break wall is kind of going to be a warm color. I've just got to get a gray, some kind of gray in there. Kind of a orangey gray for the break wall. Let's see if I can get a little bit of warmth in there, or red. In a scene like this, there's a lot of gray, you know, because it is overcast, and I keep on thinking I'm hearing thunder, but I think it's just the waves and the wind hitting on Lake Michigan, hitting the rocks, hitting the break wall. So here there's a boat, but then through here there's going to be the break wall. Now remember to bring paper towel next time. I always forget about bringing paper towel. So this goes right through. Again, this is just a nice gray that goes for the rocks way back here. And we're gonna bring that over. Here's a little bit of a break wall. When you're plein air painting like this too, it's hard to wait for it to dry, especially when I'm doing a video. Some of these things I should be waiting for it to dry so I can get a nice hard edge, but it is the background and it is kind of rainy, and so we'll keep that soft edge. Looks like the only hard edge I'm getting right now is over here on the right side, which, you know, I don't need it there. And so we'll just keep on going. And since I'm gonna leave this alone, it's gonna break water. Let's see if I can see again. Nope. Now I'm gonna go right into my boats, and I'm gonna get the that's pretty much my light areas. And there's a little bit of too much light here, but I'm gonna leave it alone because it's kind of neat. Again, a lot of this, when you're working outdoors, you kind of go with what you get, and you just kind of say, okay, that's it. We'll just keep it going. Just move on. This is not like a studio painting because you can control your studio painting a little bit more, but here you have to really watch it. So let's do our grays in our boat now. Just gonna get the grays and the warmth underneath this. Especially this is a main one. This is the main boat, so I'm gonna go in here right now and get the darks underneath the boat. And I'm gonna pick our brush. It's a little bit too small a brush to work with at this point. It was good for back there, but here I'm gonna go use a bigger brush. I'm going to make it gray. Different colored grays you can also get, and it looks like this pier will be darker than this, so go right into the pier. If you know that something's going to be darker later, just go into it. That way some of the water color, the colors of the watercolor will help out the look of that being darker. Then you know for sure you have to make it darker. And so there's the pier. Same color right now, but then when I go darker with it, I know for sure I have to go darker so that it projects out. A little bit more purple in here. See how I'm working big areas? I always work big areas. Try to work the biggest areas, get those done. Yeah, went a little too far with this. Gonna go a little bit orange in here. This is the pier. And again, the pier's gonna be darker. This is just the first wash on the pier, and I'm just put it together so I don't make a line between the pier and the boat. I'll do that later on with the pier getting darker. I'm just putting on a general wash, a large wash, so that everything comes together. The big washes are the best washes because they kind of are very together, and they're very clean when you do a big wash. This is the piers in the background. Now I'm going to go, and I probably should have done the boats back here, but this is still wet, and so now I can get in there and do the same thing I just did here, and go with the boats back here. Just get them together with the piers. And then go to the next boat here, and again, the top of the boat is my light. My lightest light is the top of the boats. So they're shiny white, you know, and so this is the side. This is going to be the part that's just a little bit your darks, and your piers will be the darkest dark. And so this is, again, I'm just doing big areas together. Look at the top of this pier now, put it right into the pier. Now it's one big wash. When people find things seem to be very complicated, it's because there's so much stuff. No, you make it simple for yourself and bring this all together as one wash, and then it becomes very simple. And I'm going to actually go right into the water then right away too. So I'm going to go right into from that wash, I'm going to go right into the reflections in the water. So that way you get it all together. It's one big wash, and I'm just doing like I call it Z's, doing a Z reflections. I may keep a little bit of this, well, that pier is going to be darker and the reflection will be darker than the boat. So I can go right into that boat. But again, because that later on will be darker. I just want to get things together so they look like they're coming together in here. See the reflections? There's waves out there, so you're going to put that right into there. Right into the boat. I made it a little bit different colors so that it can be a little bit different. And there's a lot of lines back and forth like this, a lot of lines back and forth. I put my finger down here now, it's wet, and so ruin that a little really fast. And here again, we go with the reflection. And see how it just blends all together, and you don't have to worry about the darks until you put the darks in, and that will separate the boats from the pier, because the pier is darker, and the bottom of the boats actually have some black in it, and so they're actually painted black, the bottom of the boats, and so we'll put that in there later. So right now I'm doing these Z's. Just getting a little Z's in there. Z's meaning I'm going back and forth like this, if you don't understand that. And then each pier, once it's darker, we'll also get another reflection that's a little bit darker. And there's also. So I'm going to go through here. Now this is the main boat, and so I want to make sure that we've got some really nice reflections. A little bit darker reflections. Don't go beyond the boat because it doesn't do that. It's reflecting right below it. Take this right into the top of this one. Now this pier is going to be lighter than the water reflection here, so I'm not going to go into that part. I'm going to leave a little white line right there. And this is my favorite thing to paint. One of the water and boats, along with cities. That's something I loved when I was in Venice, doing a workshop in Venice. That was always a fun workshop. I like to be around water and boats and cities, and so Venice was a great opportunity when I had gone there. Now we're going to do a really nice dark gray in here. I'm going to do the side of this pier right away, and I can make that soft edge. Just going to go through here. Now this area, Winthrop Harbor, is on Lake Michigan. It's in Illinois, and it's northeast Illinois, very corner. And they have some beautiful beaches here, and there's even a park that I'm going to see if I can't find the trails. I'm going to run the trails here. Never run the trails here, so I'm going to see what happens afterwards. So now we've got the darks all down here, and we got reflections. I'm going to take a second and look at it from the camera, because it's always good to look at it in the camera to see how it looks. So see how it all comes together. It's all coming together nicely. If you are asking questions, I cannot see the camera, so I'll look at them later. If you want to ask questions, just put them up there, and then later on I'll go look at them. Now we're going to sit here and we're going to do the shadows on top of the boats, and also the windshields and stuff. Those are all dark, and so that's where you're going to get. Now I know the work of metal work on this is white. I'm going to have to make it dark first, because I didn't use masking fluid, and I don't have. I can put white paint there, but there's some dark in that. On the dark side, because it is metal, so it's reflecting dark and light. So I'm going to put dark first, and then I would maybe put white over it. That's the only thing I could possibly do to make that look like what it actually is. So let's go in now with our... Oh, it always sounds like it's thundering, but it's just the water crashing on the rocks over there. I'm not sure if you can hear that. So let's start with the back one. Here, back here, there's a windshield that's a little bit darker. And this boat back here, I'm going to keep very simplified, so I don't have to, do a lot on this one. Just enough to show that there is a boat back here. And I'm keeping it all really kind of low key back here because I wanted to sand back, and if you do that, it also makes it look like it's stormy and there's like clouds, and not clouds but mist in the air. So that's another good thing to have. And I'm not sure what this square thing is right here. Okay, this is this. It's going back. I'm not sure what I made this when I drew there. Oh, I see. It's in the background. It's behind. It's actually on the rocks back there. And then this boat is over here. I'm going to have to use white paint because I guess some of this is a little bit too dark already that I made when I put that first wash on. So I will have to go back in there later on with white paint and get my lights back. But that's okay. No problem with that. Again, I'm practicing up, doing some plein air painting, a lot of plein air painting lately. Just trying to practice up for Grand Marais when I go up to Lake Superior in September. It's always good to practice a little bit, practice, being outside and what the temperature's like and how things, when it's like rainy like this, what to do with your water and your paint and how much paint to use and how fast it takes to dry. So it's all just good to get out there. Practice is always good. So now like I said, I'm getting my dark windshields. And they're not super, super dark, but these are just my darks that create and make the lights a little bit lighter looking. And this is going to be the boat behind it. The windshield. This is actually plastic right here. Now this windshield is pretty dark also. And you can make it a little bit darker than it is, only so that the lights pop out a little bit even more. The top of the boats pop out even more. It took me about 15 minutes to draw it, sketch it in. But I don't sketch every little thing in there, so I don't have to worry, that I'm getting every little thing in there. Now this boat, okay, I see what I did. This is this boat, and I thought, I didn't get every boat in there. I only got the one, two, I'm only going to the third boat. This is the third boat right here. I didn't put the fourth and fifth boat in there even. Back here there's more boats, but I didn't even put them in there. Let's get darks back here. Get my dark. The dark side of the pier now. It's not as dark as it appears. I'm going to paint a little bit darker than it is, only because that way it'll focus my attention on the boat and not on the pier. Get the contrast. And there's going to be a really dark bottom of the boat, so maybe I can do this a little bit lighter. A bigger brush when I'm doing bigger areas. A little bit darker goes back. I can make this darker so I can go right in here, right into the boat right away, and then I can negative paint that after I get the boat painted in. This part also is darker. Let's work on getting this stuff done back here, otherwise I'm never going to get this done. So let's hurry up and get this part done. And then the bottom of this boat is darker than the pier. And again, like in my newsletter this week, don't be afraid of using black to darken some of your colors. You can always put color back into that black, but it's really a fast way of getting it dark. I'm just going to put this in there. And so see, that may be really dark, and it may be kind of an ugly color, but you put color into it afterwards. You would drop a little bit of violet in there afterwards, and the bottom of where it hits the water usually is darker anyways. And so let's just put that into the water, a little bit darker. And I blend that in. Make this a little bit darker. You can build up on your darks too, little by little. Like let's say you didn't get the darks right away. As long as you don't get too dark, you can always make things darker. And then you can do another wash, another wash, another wash. You can always get darker. The hard part is getting lighter. Like if you need to get something lighter again, then you're going back in and you're rubbing out. So that's harder to do than if you're doing the making things darker. So if you don't get it dark right away, that's okay. Now there is a boat back here. I took it out because I wanted to be able to see, like that's where the boats leave. And actually out there, they're sailing out there. And it's pretty windy. And so now let's go back in and start working our boat. A little bit of a plastic right here. This boat is pretty incredible, this one. It goes, there's like 3 levels on this boat. There's way in the distance up on top here. It's a little covering for the guy that's sitting way up there. It's like 2 layers. Another layer right here. I wouldn't want to be the guy that's way up there, man. That's pretty high up there. And I'm going to put the brake wall. I'm going to do the brake wall again, a little bit darker gray, so that I can then make the top of the boats light. So here I'm doing the brake wall again, darker, so that I can use the dark to make the top of the boats. Because the top of the boats are lighter than the brake wall, and so I need to make the background darker, the little brake wall darker, so then it negative paints in the light parts of the boat. And there's a seat, steering wheel. And like I said, I'm going to put in these bands of metal, these aluminum metal bands. I'm going to make them dark first, and I'll put white over them because I didn't put masking fluid down and to get that fine a detail with white pencil or something. It's a little bit too hard. So I'm making it dark first, and I'll use white paint over that later because it's dark and light. It's both, and so I can actually do the dark parts of it first. There's a lot of metal here, up there on that deck. And so I can just put the dark parts in first. And then I'll put white on top of that. And I may have to even do that when I get back in the studio because out here, I'm not sure if I can get it. It's going to be dry enough. And so let's get our rigger. Rigger brush is great for putting line work on a boat because it's even called a rigger, so it's like rigging of the boat. So here we have the rails in there. All these fishing poles, I got a million fishing poles back here, the lines, and again a lot of these are white, but because again I will put that in first or later. There's a fishing net that's hanging out the back of this fishing boat. These are all charter boats back here, by the way. This is the charter part of the harbor. I haven't seen anybody go out fishing yet though. It's probably a little bit too chilly out there, too early in the morning for fishermen to get out there. Well, actually, it should go. Isn't that when you go out fishing? Oh, it's getting cold and there's a big cloud coming. Uh-oh. Hopefully that doesn't start raining here. Hopefully it doesn't start raining. So see, I'm putting in my darkest dark, which is right here. There's a really dark, and so I'm establishing now some of my darkest darks. There's a little line here that goes back. So by establishing your darkest dark, then you can regulate the rest of your work from that. Knowing that's the darkest dark, then I can look at everything else and I compare it to that dark right there. I can also make a warm or a cool dark, and I can make this really dark, and I'm just going to make this the soft edge. Because on the bottom where it hits the water, usually it's really dark because of all the water just collecting right there where it hits the side, and it's wet. And so when something's wet, it's darker usually. So little by little we get darker and darker. Get all this stuff in there. But some of this dark stuff is reflecting really dark, and that's going to be reflecting really light too. So, and there is so much metal going back and forth here. But like I said, I'm going to make it dark first, and then I'll put in some white. My finger is getting messy, and so I'm putting my finger in things that shouldn't be in, but nothing I can do about that right at the moment. So I keep on moving. Got some posts sitting here. I got some posts on the side. Oh, look at that. I put that into my finger into the top. Oh boy. I don't have paper towel with me. Oh boy. Let's see what I do. My shirt. Rub with my finger a little bit. There is way out here. There's a little bit of some kind of light back here. You know, it's a little buoy thing, letting the boats know where the entrance is, like a lighthouse type of thing. Marker. It's like a marker out there. All right, I'm gonna go in for some white now. And I'm going to start putting some white in here. And this is almost like, now we're almost like making it a gouache. Like, it's going to be pretty thick white. So I'm going to go in here with white and just put it in pure white. Make it a little bit wet so it glides. And like in the side of this thing here, there's a little bit of white. It's okay to do this, you know. I mean, people are always like, you shouldn't be using white, but it's like outdoors, and it's almost like gouache. I'm using gouache now. Gotta go right up into that area, so I think it's a little bit taller. And actually, sometimes I wouldn't mind using gouache itself and just use gouache as the medium out here, because then it's almost like you're oil painting. You make it thick, and it's those oil painting techniques in here. On the side of the things you get a little bit of white. The side of the boat. I guess the little dots on my fingers are going to have to be seagulls, because there are a lot of seagulls flying around here. Birds, if you look right now, actually you see them right there. Stay right there, stay right there, right there. See, perfect. You can see them? I'm probably not on my camera, right? A couple more things over here. Antennas, fishing lines, fishing poles. Let's get these back here. There. And now I'm actually doing details. I'm just doing little details like ropes and stuff, and we're almost done. I'm not going to do too much more in the back, and so another fun Sunday out painting. Just going to get a few more things here. And to do seagulls, you can do dark ones and light ones, because some are dark up there. And what I'm going to do is just do little dots, like little M's. You can see them right now, and actually just take some pictures of them, and that's my dirty fingers up here, and so now I can just make them seagulls. See, I'm making little M's and put a lot in. It's okay. There's a lot of birds out there, and actually you can put a couple birds sitting on the dock, because there usually are. I'm going to put a little bird right here, seagull right here, sitting there. Pretty big one. Oh well. See, now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of putting a lot of messy lines in there, because a lot of stuff I'm not going to be able to do every single little rope and everything. But if you just do a bunch of little lines and get a bunch of little intricate stuff in there, it'll look fine. It'll be like because there's all kinds of stuff on the harbor, and a little clanking you hear all the time. A little bit more of this. Now I'm going to put this reflections into the water. A little bit more white back here. There's a couple of light things that are light. On top of the boats they have those little radars. You can put that in there, antennas. And there is a, I'm going to put a little warmth, I'm going to put a little red right here. There's this little red thing here. I'm not sure what this is. It's a big little cabinet of some kind. Put red there, and then I'm going to find another place to put some red. Like maybe in the boat here, like right here, I'm going to put a little red. And maybe over here, just to get some warmth in there. Now one more thing over here, and I think we're going to call it quits. I'm going to look at it from the camera angle and see what I'm supposed to do. It's always good to look at your work through the camera. It's like stepping away from it. It's great to do that every once in a while, to step away and look at what it looks like from a distance. Because when you're so close to it so long, it tends to kind of all blend together, and you don't see what the mistakes are or the things that you still have to work on. And way in the distance here, there's a little tent way back there. There's a little tent back here. I'm just going to put that in there real quickly. I shouldn't even make it that light, but it's back there. Make it a little bit darker. Hits of light back there too, just little dots. And again, let me look at it through the camera, and then we'll see if you have any questions. Then we'll have another one accomplished. A nice little painting done. Sunday morning. Okay, let me look at my camera and see what we got. I think we're going to leave it at that. Let's get a little bit closer, you can see it. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. So let me show you the scene. So there again is the scene. This is Winthrop Harbor in Illinois, northeast Illinois. And there's some more boats over there. I took a couple pictures like this. I was actually going to do this scene, but I can save that now for later. Or if you want to just stop the camera and at any point and paint this, you're more than welcome to do that. I don't. You'll have plenty of time to just stop the video, and you can use that up all you want. All right. So let me take one more shot of this, and we'll say goodbye, guys. And there it is. Nice little Winthrop Harbor. And if you want, like I said, if you want to paint it, be my guest. And here's a shot. I'll just do one more time. Here's a shot that I painted. And you just stop the camera and take a screenshot and go from there. All right, guys. Have a nice Sunday, rest of the Sunday. And we'll see you hopefully next Thursday. Next Thursday when I do the paint-alongs. All right? And maybe I'll have to post this on YouTube. This will be on YouTube later on. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.